Oh, boy. Happy to be with you, and it's a Friday, so that makes it even happier. Welcome to the show. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey. Brad, I like your shirt. As always, that's a
Thank you.
fantastic shirt.
Yep,
I'm
it's a gift.
wearing my at-home basement comfy clothes, which my wife says she's embarrassed if I go out in public and wear my Adidas tracksuit. She said, no, you're not doing that.
Why?
And she just says, she's like, grown men don't do that. And you should see, okay, the shirt underneath it, to be fair, she doesn't like that either. It's, oh, I'll show you the shirt. It says, go ahead, call the cops. So I wear the tracksuit
It's
and the
Vinny.
shirt that says, go ahead, call the cops. And she said, oh, that's so embarrassing. Ryan, no. And I said, I want to wear this to Spider-Man tomorrow because I want to be comfortable sitting in the movie theater
Oh.
where it's a little chilly. It's cold in there.
Going to see Spider-Man.
I hope so. We were planning to see it last weekend. It didn't work out, so we're planning to see it this weekend. People seem to like it. So, Spider-Man franchise is pretty fun, even though it's not great to support Sony right now after they got rid of the discs. But other than that, I do want to see the film. So I said, this is perfect. I'm going to sit in those recliner chairs. You stick your feet up. It's a 2.5-hour movie, so I'm wearing my tracksuit. I'm comfortable. The temperature of my body is going to be perfect. I don't have to worry and hear screaming kids in the background because my dad's going to be dealing with that tomorrow watching them. This is like a perfect 1, 2, 3 punch. I just want to feel good. So I pop on the Adidas tracksuit, which you can see on the live YouTube feed right now
Looks
or
great.
Facebook, wherever
Looks
you're
great.
watching.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I bought this just last week, by the way. It's brand new. Went to
Looks good.
Outlet Mall, and they just happened to have it super sale on the rack. I said, I'm getting it. She's like, why do you want that? Like, look at I look super fly. That's the way to put it. So
Okay.
if you want to
Whoa,
go
whoa,
see
whoa.
the, okay, I had you up until that point. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. You lost
What?
me with the Superfly.
Super fly. Well, just regular fly.
No, it's
Maybe.
it's not the right phrase.
All right. So that's to get you to watch the video feed right now. If you want to see me comfortable in my basement, go do that. The YouTube live chat poll is up. Brad, what's the poll for today that people can vote on if
the
they
poll today
see
is
me super fly?
Are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? And it's just a yes or no question. I got a pretty cool clip from Mike Rowe that we'll probably play here later on in the show. But are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? Yes or no? We want to know what you think. You can text us at 314-241-9797, or you can leave a comment on the YouTube page, which is also where the poll is, and you can vote in the poll there. But you can just text us, and we'll be reading the comments and looking at that stuff, too.
Yeah, and I know it's not the YouTube live chat poll, but if you want to text in, does Ryan look super fly, yes or no? I would take those text messages,
We will
too.
take those text messages as well.
And I saw this. There are a couple of different headlines. It was the one I'm grabbing from Fox. It said, Trump told donors, quote, we need to elect J.D., source confirms as he weighs in between J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio for 2028. I think that Trump has since said, no, I didn't say that. He's kind of denying that he told donors that, but I mean, it could very well be true. So he is the vice president of the United States and J.D. Vance. It almost seems a natural fit. It seems like they get along with each other. It's not so much like Donald Trump and, let's say Mike Pence was the second installment of Donald Trump, and let's say that Mike Pence was in office. I don't think he would be endorsing a Mike Pence. I think he'd probably be looking outside to find his endorsement, even if Mike Pence were out to run for president. So it's not a bad – either candidate would not be bad candidates, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. To me, personally, I like Rubio better, but I think J.D. Vance is a strong candidate, and him being an ally to Donald Trump. I mean, that's a big part of it. Does it surprise you that when between the two, Trump would pick J.D. Vance?
No, it doesn't surprise me because he picked J.D. Vance to be his running mate. And he picked Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State. One of the things I find interesting, though, is historically speaking, the idea that that the vice president would be the next in line to run for office is somewhat of a new concept. It used to be that it was the Secretary of State who people viewed as most capable of taking over for the president, and it's because the Secretary of State was handling foreign policy, which is the main role of the executive. It is the role that is assigned only to the executive branch. It's not the role of Congress to handle foreign policy. It's not the role of the judiciary to handle it. It's the executive office.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So being that it is, albeit new or whatnot, all things considered, I think if one of the two were the candidate for the Republicans, and I know there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to be challenging it, and there's going to be probably the Ted Cruz's of the world. I don't think Rand Paul's going to run again, but, he did there for a little bit back in 2016's election. So let's just say there's some more, I don't know, what they call centrist or more populist type of Republicans that are out there. The ones that would really be, excuse my French, turd in the punch bowls for the Republican Party. Let's put it that way. I think if you were to just boil it down to some of the strongest candidates, JD would be good. And Rubio, to me, I think he is just knocking it out of the park. Every time he goes up to the plate, he's hitting a home run. So I think that if he could do that as a candidate, that would be a great thing for the Republican Party. JD Vance, to me, is that he's just a little bit, he's got that Trump harshness to him where he's not trying to make friends. I think that, I don't know if will play in his favor or not. And I think sometimes the Marco Rubios of the world, you can ask him a question, he's going to give you a very solid, logical answer, and you're going to be like, way to go, Rubio, you just handled that great. I think JD might have those little things that they're going to run on the political attack ads on loop. He gives them ammunition for things like that. I don't know if that works against you or for you for the Republican support.
I actually don't think – I think that J.D. Vance is much better with the media. I think he's much more likable than Donald Trump.
Oh, I was talking about between him and Marco Rubio.
I would say I think J.D. Vance still comes off as, much more relatable and likable. Not that Marco Rubio isn't, but Marco Rubio still – like when you talk to Marco Rubio or you hear Marco Rubio talk, you hear a polished politician. And when you hear J.D. Vance talk, you hear – a man from, Appalachia who grew up with nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
And made something of his life. You still hear that from him. And I think that, when I watched J.D. Vance in the debate against Tim Walz, now Tim Walz isn't a great example because that guy is about as believable as, I don't know, whatever lie you want to make up there. But Tim Walz is not a likable, relatable guy. He was fake likable, fake relatable. And that was kind of why they picked him, because they thought, he'll be able to talk to white dudes. Well, no, they saw a fraud. J.D. Vance came off very relatable, very likable in that debate. So I think J.D. Vance, that's actually one of the things that he has going for him.
He's, making the rounds here and there. I think he's been trying to stay top of mind, which is an important thing for political candidates to do. So President Trump out there trying to get the early fundraising, if that's what's happening to donors behind the scenes, that's always an important thing to do, because before you know it, we're going to be past the midterms, and that's exactly what people are going to be talking about. We're going to get into 2027, and immediately it's going to be, okay, it's the next president talk for the next year and a half, until the two candidates are picked. I don't even know who the Democrats are going to pick at this point, because they are such at a crossroad right now with the type of people that they're electing that are so far left socialist, in some ways communist. They just are so far left that the Democratic Party right now is looking at the people that are winning, and at least the ones that their party is picking, and they're saying, we don't want the same old type of polished type of, middle of the road Democrat, your traditional electable Democrat. We want something harsh. We want something strong. We want the counterweight to all these. Every time a Republican has won, we want to erase that win, and we want to do it hard. So they are coming in fast and furious to push far left, and the Democrat Party doesn't know what to do with that. So I want to know, when it comes time to pick their candidate to be the next president, are they going to lean into that far left, or are they going to try to find someone that's more middle of the road?
I think that's what they're trying to figure out right now. I think that there is a fight for the soul of the Democrat Party right now. I think that these primaries this year, these latest ones especially, have shook the moderates in the Democrat Party. I think they looked at this and they never thought that these socialists would gain power. I saw a post, and what did he call it? The toxicity of the Overton window poisoning, or Overton poisoning. And so what he said was basically what happens is Democrats, especially left-leaning Democrats, they will say things that they don't really mean because their goal then is to move the moderate Democrats a little bit more to the left. So they'll say outrageous things like defund the police because they want a different kind of police reform. They don't actually want to defund the police, but because they have said it so often, they've created this wing in their party that has gotten out of control that really does want to defund the police. And so all of these extreme stances, and now they have to figure out how they're going to walk back some of the stuff that they had said in their past and become moderate again, because that is very much unelectable stuff that they've been championing.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting next couple of years for sure. And I want to see how the midterms work. But, I mean, we have some pretty big radical people that are going to be on the ballot, particularly in the state I live in now here in Michigan. And a lot of people are watching that Senate race. So you're going to have someone that's more of a traditional moderate Republican or a far left socialist win that one. That's, I think, going to be a real big gut check for both parties to see if a Republican loses to that. That's going to be a gut check to Republicans. If the Democrats pick that, it's going to be a gut check to them too. Or we're going to find more or less some balance. I don't know. Does it turn out that Donald Trump and J.D. Pritzker agree on something? Is that right? How does that happen? That seems off.
Yeah, it's like hell's frozen over or something. What is going on here?
So Jeff Monosso, Fox News Radio, is going to join us after the break. We're going to talk to him about that. I find that every once in a while those type of things happen, and it kind of makes me get a little bit of hope, but I know that hope only lasts for like 10 minutes before they start hating each other again. So let's take it when we can get it. Jeff Monosso after the break. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey on 97.1 FM Talk.
Business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home and I was out in Illinois, and as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Suffering from knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, or tennis elbow caused by arthritis, inflammation, or an injury? STL Joint Relief, now open in St. Peter's, offers a non-surgical, non-narcotic solution that can provide lasting relief. Using advanced ultrasound guidance, we pinpoint the exact source of your pain, allowing for precise treatment that targets the problem, not just the symptoms. Best of all, STL Joint Relief accepts all insurance. Learn more and schedule your appointment at stljointrelief.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey. Comfortable, and has anyone said I'm Superfly yet? Or is that just a pipe dream for me in my Adidas tracksuit?
I'm still logging into that.
I guess we'll find out soon. Thank you for everyone that's following us online, watching the live video feed. In one of the rare instances, we find there is some agreement between President Donald Trump and Governor of Illinois, J.D. Pritzker. Joining us now from Fox News Radio, Jeff Monosso. Hello, sir.
Hey, my friend. Good to be with you.
I wanted to know, I was trying to think of a time where the two agreed on anything. There's probably times where they have, but probably on minuscule things. There's one thing I think they do agree on, and this happens to be about the way oil companies may spike prices around instances. We know with Iran, and the president has commented and said, hey, man, you got to be fast to come back down. You're fast to go up, fast to come down. And it sounds like him and J.B. Pritzker have something in common. They agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the president and then the governor who's presumably going to be running for president, out there on a topic that most Americans agree with. Actually, I think it'd be hard pressed to find any American that didn't agree with oil prices needing to come down. But in a letter to U.S. CEOs of 7 major oil companies, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker accusing these companies of profiteering from the war in Iran and demanding that they return these windfall profits to consumers. Get this, the world's 8 largest listed oil producers raked in nearly $93 billion in profits in Q2. That's just April through June alone. Mm-hmm. And Pritzker's accusing them of using the guise of supply disruptions from the war to collect these record-setting profits, calling it the very definition of profiteering. He's calling on each company to give that money back to consumers through price cuts or even direct refunds. He also wants them to provide transparency around pricing and profit margins since the war began. And he wants them to make public how executive teams are being compensated. I wouldn't hold my breath, but Pritzker's giving them till August 21st to respond. And this, of course, as you mentioned, days after President Trump railed against companies like Chevron and ExxonMobil over high profits and amid the conflict. He says they should give the money back to the public. The president also last month said that he wants the Justice Department to probe into whether or not customers are being gouged. Mm-hmm. Gas prices shot up here in Illinois $1.30 per gallon since the start of the war, though under J.B. Pritzker, the state's gas tax has also shot up 154% since 2019.
Yeah, and I've talked to experts on this before when it comes to price gouging, not necessarily around war in general, but they're always very weary about the profits that oil companies are making. And essentially what they say is that the profits go up, the profits go down. It's just because, world events will cause them to hedge their bets, try to guess what's happening in the future. They might basically insure themselves in some way if the worst case scenario happens, but then they're slow to come back down. But in the end, it's not as dramatic as it looks in the onset. So with that being said, are they profiteering from the war in Iran is the big question, or is this just business as usual?
Well, that's I mean, it's one of those things where, you can ask that and everybody's going to say, of course they're profiting. I mean, why are they charging, well, at least here in Chicagoland, $5 a gallon or more? But again, it's taxes, but it's also it's the summer blend, which is more. It's their refinery costs. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the mix. But the fact of the matter is we're paying far more than we were in January, and so the supply side seems to be still plentiful, if you will. In late July, global oil prices shot up $100 a barrel as the war escalated. But it's important to remember that these, while you see the price at the pump, I mean, those are gas stations kind of setting those prices based on oil, prices from these oil companies. And I don't know, man, $93 billion in just a couple of months profit.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot.
Jeff, this is Brad. I'm an Illinois resident as well. I'm just kind of the catty corner opposite part of the state down here by St. Louis. But one of the things about Illinois is that they have a gas tax that goes up perpetually every year. It's just automatic. It's built in. They just passed a law to do that. J.B. Pritzker is going after oil companies for profiteering. Has he done anything to actually, on his end, relieve it? Like, is that gas tax still happening? Has he put a moratorium on it? I know other governors have.
No, I mean, if you look at Indiana, the governor there, he had, I think it was like a 90-day gas tax moratorium that was set to expire this week. And then, he was supposed to get a sign-off from the legislature to continue it, but he did it anyway. And I think as a consumer, as a voter, you're going right on. I love that. But and this is one of those topics that it's hard to disagree with and hard to not win support. So when you're talking about high gas prices, and wanting to reap some of these profits away from these companies to ease the pain at the pump, pretty hard to disagree with. But you're right. This was something passed by Democrats, and under J.B. Pritzker's leadership as governor, these perpetual tax increases. Illinois drivers pay a state fuel tax of about 49 cents. I think it was 17 cents when he came in. And that's per gallon. When you include the federal 18.4 cent tax plus the state's 6.25 cent sales tax, the total burden climbs to nearly 85 cents per gallon, giving Illinois the second highest gas tax in the nation. I would imagine that you're always filling up on the St. Louis side of the river.
Well, I pump E85 because my truck's flex fuel, and that helps out a ton. But yeah.
I'll just point out where I'm here in Michigan, the gas tax is over 50 cents. So it's like Illinois, we'll put it that way. Jeff Monosso, if I remember correctly, you and I are in the same club when it comes to driving older vehicles until the wheels fall off. Are you getting good gas mileage in your car?
Well, so here's the thing. I was driving older vehicles because of my commute to Chicago. Didn't pay to park. You should see where I park. It doesn't pay to have a nice vehicle there, but I still have that car. And I hedged my bets. I gambled. I'm like, okay, January's around. This is pre-war, and you know what? I'm going to go buy a truck. And so I bought a truck, and then the war started. And so good times.
Wait, a new truck or an older one?
Yeah, no, it's a new truck, and it cost me about $120 to fill it up every time.
Oh, my goodness. Jeff. I thought we were going to be part of the old car club forever. You're leaving the club.
Listen, I'm still there. I still have the vehicles, but I decided, I wanted this, and I was looking at it for a long time, and I thought this was now the time to pounce. It was really bad timing. Not a good gambler. But it's just one of those things where you have to, you have to kind of bite the bullet and hope and pray that prices. It's not just at the gas pump; it's the grocery store. It's everywhere you look, and hopefully something occurs. Something happened in 2020, and everything's up 3 times what they were, and it's you hope something happens sometime soon.
Tell you what. You got all the bells and whistles, though, things that the old car won't do. All of a sudden, it remembers you when you go through that door. It's pretty amazing.
It does.
Yeah. Well, if people wanted to look you up online and some of the things you're doing, where can they go?
Well, go to foxnewsradio.com. I stay largely silent on social media. I don't have much to do with it. And I think that philosophy really has paid off for me. I'm not into clicks. I'm not into, I worked with Mark Reardon for a long time in Milwaukee. I don't have an ego. Ask him. That's great. I just kind of do my thing, and I like to remain and that's a beautiful thing about radio too, is, you're not, I've got family members in television, and, they're always recognized. That's not my thing. So, I wouldn't recommend, you're not going to find much on me, at least. Maybe you can search. Who knows? But I like to just kind of do my thing. And
I didn't realize you worked in Milwaukee. Was that WTMJ?
Yeah, WTMJ. I got my start on WKTI. It was an FM radio station and doing it was a DJ and doing news part-time, producing. I think I produced for Reardon for a little while and then got into news. Actually, 9/11 changed my life. I became a reporter that day.
Wow.
And being a DJ, spinning the hits, it didn't mean anything to me anymore, and got into news and traveled around a little bit and landed at Fox News World Headquarters in New York 18 years ago.
Awesome. So that means you're a Brewers fan living in Chicago? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, well, I've got my Packer helmet here in my office, and I sometimes it's missing. I think these guys try to damage it. And yeah, Packers, Brewers for sure. Yeah, Wisconsin born and bred, and it's good to be back in here in the Midwest. But yeah, it's good to be here.
And you can take the ferry over to Muskegon sometime in Michigan if you wanted to from Milwaukee or something like that. I think it's Muskegon is where it comes off of.
Yeah, there's two ferries. There's two routes, one from Milwaukee to Muskegon, then one from Manitowoc to a little north of Muskegon. So, yeah, it's something you should do at least once. Kind of pricey, but fun.
Yeah. I looked it up. It's like $150 a person now to go through the ferry over Lake Michigan. I couldn't believe how expensive it was. It was a lot more expensive than I remember when I was younger. Jeff Monosso, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. You bet.
Fox News Radio, Jeff Monosso, former Mark Reardon producer in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What a small world, isn't it?
I'm going to have to ask Mark about that. I did not know that.
That is so awesome. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Offer you 0% financing for up to 24 months on your basement waterproofing project. There are a lot of reasons to call Matt Hayes and the great team at Home Shield Foundation Repair, but this 0% financing offer might be the thing that gets you to pick up the phone once and for all and have Matt Hayes come look at your basement and tell you what kind of project you're looking at. Did I mention that Home Shield Foundation Repair and Matt Hayes are eager to provide a lifetime warranty on the work they do to waterproof your basement once and for all? All you got to do is call 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900 and connect with Home Shield Foundation Repair to see how they can fix your problem so you can get that usable space back inside your home. It's important to call experts. It's important to understand who you're working with. Check out their reviews and the many satisfied customers right here from this local family-owned business. 314-271-9900. Online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet August 11th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategy that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, August 11th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring quote-unquote stuff? It's a yes or no question, but we want to know what you think, so you can text us at 314-241-9797. That's 314-241-9797. You can say something like this text we got from the 618. It says, yes, I have too much stuff, but only what I need. Ha ha. So we want to know what you think. You can text us at that number, or you can leave us a message on the YouTube chat and vote in the poll there. We want to know what you think. Are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? The time is 12:33. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
2026 is a year to celebrate. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Just imagine me, windows down, Adidas tracksuit, lack of hair blowing in the wind.
Jeep Wagoneer,
Sweet Emotion on the radio, living my best life. Dogs in the passenger seat, head out the window, tongue out.
You were the dog.
Both, yeah. It's the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in. Hillsborough had this story, man. I tell you, this is one of the craziest stories. People are into weird stuff, and the older I get, there's two sides of me. And one side is, when I got a little bit older, I realized, okay, I enjoy collecting animation art. Back the old cartoons I used to watch, you can own physical pieces that they used to make that television show or movie. And I really enjoy the hobby. And I'm like, you know what? It makes me happy when people find the hobby they're into that they didn't know they liked. You know, people got into woodworking during the pandemic and people really enjoy that. You are into cars. It makes me happy when people have a hobby that they really enjoy and it helps them pass the time, do other things. It's just, there's something about that, which is nice. And then there's things that people are into that I just do not understand. And I cannot think to myself, how in the world can anyone be into this sort of thing? And this is the story out of Hillsborough. So Fox 2 did a write-up. There's write-ups everywhere. It's a Peevely, Missouri man behind bars after police and prosecutors allege he tortured another man as part of a sex game he created. And I thought, wait, what?
A what now?
What? It's a sex game. Now, people are into all kinds of stuff. You're into cars. People are into woodworking. I like the animation cells. And this guy's into sex games. And he created these things. And I want you to hear how this played out, because none of this makes any sense. The police department was called to Festus after this dude showed up in the hospital. He had severe injuries. And they said, what happened? So the victim said, guy by the name of Raymond injected him with narcotics and what was like a deer blind and said, run off, naked. So the guy runs in the woods, and he starts shooting him with an air rifle.
What?
Well, he's running away, like a BB soft gun or something. You know those air rifle guns?
Wild.
So the victim claimed it was part of a sex game that he invented. So he said he took him to like a deer blind in a wooded area near his home, and he injected him with this stuff, and he said, get out of here. And then as he was running away, it was like, boom, 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 BB airsoft gun shooting until the guy ran to safety and he gets to the hospital. It happened July 31st when police heard about this. I take this back. The police raided this guy's house on July 31st, so it happened earlier than that. But according to police, the victim spent nearly 5 days in the woods hiding from him while the guy was trying to hunt him after this sex game stuff.
5 days.
5 days he was in the woods.
Whoa. Man,
So-
I think after I don't know how long, you're kind of reconsidering your life choices. What are we doing?
So he shows, this is what I don't understand. What did he tell him ahead of time? So they show up to this deer blind. He starts cutting them. He injects him with drugs, strips him. Guy starts running, and he starts shooting him with these airsoft guns. He has to hide for 5 days while he's being hunted by this crazy guy.
So were they like friends, quote unquote, prior to, or was this just some acquaintance? Did he know what he was in for? Like, we're going to play a game. Was he down with it until he started shooting at him?
It didn't say. It didn't say how they met in this story. I have no idea. I don't know if this was the intention, like, hey, let's go to the deer blind and, hang out. Or, just like, hey, I got this, deer blind behind the house. You want to go see if we can catch a deer or something? I have no idea. He shows up and he's like, okay, I want to play a game. And this is the game, and you're playing it, and run. That was it.
No. No, he injected him with narcotics too. He's like, here you go. Here's some drugs. He cut him up and injected him with the narcotics, stripped him down, and set him loose.
it said, okay, so when the police searched the home, they found an illegal sawed-off shotgun, suspected meth, seized also methadone. So methamphetamine and methadone. I don't know the difference between the two. They also found the airsoft handgun, a BB gun, and several knives. All in there. 5 days in the woods. That is just wild, all of that, isn't
5
it?
days in the woods naked.
I don't know if he was fully naked.
Well, you said they stripped him. He stripped him down and sent it.
I don't know how far down. I don't know how far down it went.
What?
If I said naked, I might have misspoke. Maybe it was my mind putting the pieces together.
But even then, like
I heard sex games. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I think that all of this is completely insane. All of this is the craziest. Why is so many of these stories happening? You had the guy that dressed as a clown and stabbed a guy to death. That's in East St. Louis, but still same kind of general area. And this is one where he takes him to his hunting blind, injects him, stabs him, gets him running, and says, I'm going to hunt you down. And this victim, I don't know if the victim knew it was like a BB gun or airsoft. Maybe he thought he was fleeing for his life like this was, real rounds, like he was being hunted. How many TV shows, Law and Order episode? All you need is one writer from these shows to just live in St. Louis for like 2 weeks in a hotel, and they'll have enough for an entire season.
For stuff. Good.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or something darker, a Netflix series or whatever.
Yeah, it's like What would you call the Law and Order that takes place in Missouri?
Law and Order St. Louis. Like, what kind of stories would come from that? Well, you're saying there's some that are like the most heinous acts. What's the one where
there's Law and Order, Criminal Intent, SVU,
Criminal Intent, So the St. Louis one would have to be the OPE edition or something. Or
Law and Order, OPE.
OPE, OPE. And you would have some great shots of the arch. You can't have anything going on in St. Louis without the arch being prominently displayed at all times.
Yeah.
So the arch should be in there somewhere. It could be like St. Louis. When I find stories like this, you always think, what would I do in that situation? Like if I was lured to a place, and I think that I wouldn't hang out for 5 days in the woods. It would be basically a nonstop running until I found something, right?
Yeah, I don't think I would be in the woods. I would be looking for people as soon as I could.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would get myself in that situation.
It makes me wonder if what I want to say almost in this situation. There's been times where I've done some stupid things. Like there was a radio station I was working at where we do a radiothon every year, and a little old lady called in and said, I have a giant jar of coins. It's too heavy for me to pick up, but we want to donate it for the radiothon. And I said, oh, okay. You want me to come by and pick it up? I guess I can do that because you're too old to pick it. And she's like, yeah, if you do that, that'd be fine. And I kept thinking to myself, that's a red flag. Showing up to a stranger's home to go pick something up, that's a little bit weird. So she's talking about she had this jug, and it was the size, in retrospect, since I'm here, I can say that I lived. It was like one of those cheese puff jars. They're huge.
Yeah.
So she had it filled to the brim with coins. This thing was really heavy. So I show up in the front door. I said, here, I'll pick up the coins now if you can hand them to me. She goes, actually, they're inside. Can you come get them? And again, the red flags were like flying. So I said, okay, since I'm here, I guess I can do it. So I walk inside. She says, it's in the bedroom closet. You have to bend down to get it. And I said, oh, no. And this lady has to be like 90 years old. And it's, the house, and it's probably a smoker's house. And I look over, and there's an old guy, and he's like hooked up to oxygen watching Wheel of Fortune. And it's a dark room, and everything is like, oh, boy, this is not good. Not good at all. So I get to this spare bedroom or whatever it is, and there's this giant jar of coins. She says, go ahead, you can have it. And I'm thinking, someone's going to hop out and kill me. Like, I'm going to die over a jar of coins. As it turns out, she was just a nice old lady, and everything was fine. But I could have very well found myself, drugged and pushed out the back door and hunted, I guess.
Apparently, yeah.
Like that.
The
Maybe
most
that's
dangerous
what happened.
game.
Maybe that's what happened to this Peevely man. Maybe he just went there, and they thought he was getting a donation for some sort of radiothon.
Guy's like, I got this jar of coins.
Just out back in the shed.
Reach in there and grab them. A little deeper.
Yeah. Does it make you wonder sometimes? You're like, if you meet people at like radio station events, you're like, I wonder if they do stuff like this. Like, because the first time I think of when I see stories like this, I want to look at a guy's picture because I think, I wonder if I ever met this guy. Like, if I was out somewhere, like, have I ever seen this guy before? So I had to look at the mugshot, didn't recognize the guy. But tell me that doesn't cross your mind in radio. You meet so many different people.
Man, no, it doesn't, because I don't go there with my brain doesn't go there. I'm usually like right in the moment at the moment. I'll tell you what though, I've opened up the newspaper and recognized faces in lineups and stuff like that. Like, this person was accused of, and it's like, oh no, what? And then I recognized that I knew the person was actually related to people.
Oh,
yeah, and you're like, oh no,
family.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So,
well, it makes for awkward reunions, I guess.
Well, no.
So, hey, did you see that the government put out new UFO files this morning? And normally they spread them out, but
yeah.
Friday mornings are the days. How about we talk about it after the break? I sent you 2 videos in particular. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So as you know, and probably a lot of people listening here, I also do work for Coast to Coast AM. It's a lot of paranormal talk. This is like right up our alley for, UFO, Bigfoot talk, man. It's prime when the government puts out new files. So I come at topics like this a little bit differently than I think you would. So I'm excited to hear how you look at these files coming up after the break. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey, 97.1 FM Talk.
Join me for breakfast 11th from 5 to 9 a.m. at Chicken Ellie's in Eureka. We're raising funds for Focus Marines Foundation. Proceeds go straight to supporting our veterans. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Is there a theme to the music today?
John did not inform me if there is one, but John did music today.
Music is songs that jam.
Yeah, songs that go hard.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker filling in. How we doing on the poll so far? The YouTube live chat poll. Are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? It's a yes or no. Go ahead and vote in that poll now. And the second side poll, which is unofficial, do I look super fly in my Adidas tracksuit? Yes or no? I need that in the chats if you could in the comments.
Don't see any comments on that.
No one thinks I'm super fly. Oh, my wife might be right. That's a hard one to accept. That's a tough one. All right, did you see the White House released, the Department of War released more of the UFO files?
Yeah.
I like these documents. I like going through them, kind of reading some of the accounts, and I see that you're putting a video up now on the YouTube page, which is nice since it's released from the government. It kind of becomes, you don't get copywritten strike downs for posts and stuff like that. I sent you two videos in particular because some of the videos are like not that impressive because they show like little snippets of things and you go through it and you think not really that great. But there was two in particular I looked at and I said, okay, I don't know where you stand in the whole UFO thing. I don't necessarily think that these actually prove anything, but I like watching them and saying this is something. I mean, we're looking at something here. I just don't know what I'm looking at. Do you want to play one of the videos?
Yeah,
and maybe we can look at it while you're playing.
I don't think that there's any audio alongside it. I think it's all silent, but
yeah.
See if I can make that bigger. There we go.
All right, so it's like it's a city, pretty large populated area. It looks like not skyscrapers or anything, but just a lot of people living there. And you have a drone footage of what looks like higher than whatever this object is that they're filming. And they're kind of going in and out of, infrared, and sometimes, being at night, they kind of have, it's not what you would expect to see if you're just taking a picture with your cell phone. And they're tracking this thing, and this thing is just moving, and it is just booking it over this city. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, okay, if this is not an aircraft, all it is this little orb that's floating. And it's moving in a way where it's not like the wind is just carrying this thing. Normally, if you watch something where the wind is taking it, it could be a little jerky. It could, move in different directions. This thing is moving with purpose. So, Brad, when you see this little orb moving over a city, and when I say orb, it looks like it's a circle.
On the screen, if you're watching the YouTube, you can see it. But if you're listening, it just looks like a dot. And they keep switching between, it's infrared, they keep switching between white hot and dark hot. But this is just, just imagine like an exaggerated period on the screen, just a circle.
Right.
And it's
the interesting thing about it is that normally the reason that you see the different heat patterns, you notice that there's no heat coming off of this thing, but something is moving it. There is something propelling it.
Yeah,
so normally when it's like an aircraft, you'd see heat patterns coming off.
Right. You don't see like exhaust plumes or anything like that coming off of it. It's just, and to Ryan's point, it's not moving in a single direction. It changes directions a couple times. Not abruptly, but it does. Like it's, just sailing around over whatever town or city this is. So
it's trucking. What do you think of that? So when you see that, and when they release these files, these UFO files, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're calling them aliens or anything like that. They're just releasing it because they investigated and looked into it because they didn't know what it was. So it's kind of clumped together of here's stuff we don't know what it is. What do you think of that? Do you think that could be a UFO?
Well, it is a UFO because we haven't identified it, and it is flying.
Do you think it could be alien life on this planet?
I don't think it's alien life. I think it's technology. Okay. I think it's earthbound technology. Somebody or some organization, some group, some government came up with it, and it's here. That to me, that video we just watched, if I had to guess what it was, if you held a gun to my head and said, what is this? I would say it's some sort of surveillance drone.
I don't know. The way it's moving, it would be a weird. I've never seen a drone like that. Have you seen an orb drone that can move like that?
No, I haven't.
Without blades?
I haven't, but I mean, it's a circle, so we don't know that it's necessarily an orb. It's just, like I said, it looks one-dimensional, so it could be a disc, and inside the circle edge of the disc, there could be propellers in there. And if it's electric, it's not going to have a big, strong heat signature like you would expect. I mean, the individual device might, but... So
go to the other video, the one I sent you if you have it. There's a ship in the background on that one, and they're monitoring this thing from a distance, and this thing just does like a buzz by of this ship in the sea. The interesting thing about this one, did I send you the wrong link? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
I think I messed up a little bit whenever I was switching to it. Let's go.
That's okay. Well, I can kind of just mention you have a ship in the water and you got this thing and it just books right past it, and it's almost like they caught this thing on accident. Oh, here we go. Look at this thing fly by it. They're like, whoa, what was that? So they try to catch up with this thing, and it is flying, and it looks like it's not necessarily right on the water. It looks like it might not be much higher than what this boat's height would be off of the water. And they're following this thing, and it's moving with purpose. It is just booking it. When you see something like that, and you're thinking, okay, something that small, there's no way a battery-powered anything could move like that, especially because if you're out in the water, this thing's battery life would die. It would just plummet. Like it would go through its battery too quickly. What is this different than the other one? Do you think this might be a little bit
this is something
more
different.
compelling?
This is a little more, the movement on this is a little more linear like that. And you're like, well, there's no exhaust, same thing. You know, you're looking in heat signatures. There's no exhaust. I don't know I don't know how big the ship is, so you can't really tell how big the object is, but it's moving in a straight line. My thought on this is it's like the final stage of munitions. So whenever they fire interceptor missiles and stuff like that, the rocket power doesn't run until it blows up unless it's really, really close. It eventually runs out of fuel, and then it's on a glide path to whatever. I think that that's some sort of munition final stage glide path, and maybe they were aiming for the ship and it missed.
It doesn't seem like it's losing any altitude, though. You would think that after it runs out of fuel, it would start to, dip down. I don't see that in this.
I mean, they've got wings on them, so, I mean...
And like I said, I don't think this means anything. It's not evidence of anything. It's just I see these things and I think there's so many unexplained things in this world. It just opens up the door to so much. All right, you're listening to the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
He's taking it to the Supreme Court. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. President Trump fires back saying he will appeal today's 2-1 federal appeals court ruling that he cannot build a White House ballroom without congressional approval.
A defeat for the president at the U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. A 2-1 ruling orders construction on a $400 million, 90,000-square-foot ballroom to stop. President Trump says the ballroom has long been sought by presidents, and the project has expanded to include new secure facilities at the White House, including a drone port and other defensive systems. The ruling does not take effect for at least 2 weeks to give the administration time to appeal. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And the president posting on Truth Social that the military and Secret Service are reviewing what he calls a horrendous, politically motivated and unlawful ruling. It appears President Trump may get his way on the next attorney general after 2 Republicans, Senator Susan Collins and Senator Lisa Murkowski, said they would not vote to confirm acting AG Todd Blanche. Senator Bill Cassidy announced his decision.
This is not a referendum on President Trump. It is a decision regarding Mr. Blanche in very specific circumstances. All considered, I will vote for Mr. Blanche.
Meantime, the Senate takes action on a bill negotiated by the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Lawmakers just overwhelmingly approved a tough Russian sanctions package designed to strengthen support for Ukraine and send a message to President Vladimir Putin. An economist had expected the July jobs report to show the U.S. added 80,000 jobs. Instead, it lost 23,000, and May and June's numbers were revised lower by 103,000. But White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett tells Fox,
if you throw out the World Cup and the government workers, we actually had a number that was about plus 100,000.
America's listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And welcome back. If you voted in our YouTube live chat poll, that's great. But don't forget that there's also a sub poll. Do I look super fly in my Adidas tracksuit?
I got a
so
text
far,
message. Yeah,
not good so far.
Oh no, he says he's pretty fly for a white guy. So that's from the 636.
You know, I feel fly for a white guy, like that Offspring song. But my wife still will not let me wear this out. She said, "You're going to embarrass me wearing your blue tracksuit with a shirt that says, 'Go ahead, call the cops.'" Man, I think this is a great outfit. All right, joining us now is the chairman and co-founder of AIQ Global, James Malackowski. Thank you so much for joining us here in St. Louis.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, guys.
AI is such a fast-moving type of technology. I almost feel like my parents when we first got a computer and I was able to figure it out quickly, and they always were asking me questions. Now I'm the old guy where my kids got to explain things to me. It's come full circle. But I don't know if it's my fault because things just change so quickly. There's a new AI model. I think this one's from China, and it's getting a lot of people talking right now. Is it the Kimi K3 model?
That's exactly right. And don't fear getting to know the technology. It is happening quickly, but it's also one of the easier technologies to learn. That said, there's things to be concerned about, and Kimi K3 is certainly one of them.
Well, why is it concerning? Because we know that when it comes to China and artificial intelligence, there's a lot of talk on the government side. We don't want to fall behind them. That's what you hear a lot of politicians on both the left and right say. So we're kind of racing to make sure we have the most powerful when it comes to this technology. And it seems like China just kind of cheats a lot. They steal what they can get from other models, particularly ones that are developed in the United States, and they're not really ethical with what they're putting together either. So what's the concern with this latest Chinese AI model?
The concern here is actually very different. So as you mentioned, governments are trying to make sure that there's proper control or governance over these AI models. But what China did with Kimi K3 is they publicly released the model or the weights of the model. What that means is that other enterprises can download those models and build upon them, and then all of a sudden that governmental layer of supervision, regardless of how strong or weak it was, is just gone.
So power to the people. It sounds like open source. A lot of people would like that. So what's the danger of handing this type of technology over? It almost seems like people prefer open source things.
You're right to describe it as open source. That's a great analogy. I sometimes say it's more been released into the wild. And the reason this is different and a greater concern is because of the power of the technology. You're probably also familiar with in the last 2 weeks, we've had the leading LLM producers have their models break out of containment. And now we're going to have this very powerful model. Kimi K3 is regarded by some as the third most powerful model that's ever been built in the hands of governments or rogue actors that we don't know about. And that is a huge distinction.
So I think that people, when they think of AI, they're like, okay, these Chinese models, they can make movies and not have to worry about copyright. So if you wanted to make a, Die Hard 12 with Bruce Willis, you can do that because, these Chinese models let you do that. What's the real danger then? As opposed to the artistic things that people are doing to break copyright law, what are the dangers with opening this up and giving it to bad actors?
Yeah, the distinction with artistic work is twofold. One is the artistic movie isn't going to hurt anybody physically. And then second, you'll know if there's copying because they'll have to promote it and to get benefit. The danger here is these models have now gone into the wild and you don't know who's using them or how they're going to use them. If you think about the examples where the OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta models have broke containment, what they've done is they've gone and breached the security protocols of other third-party enterprises. So you can just imagine how that's not something we may want to have in the hands of people who aren't controlling it.
Hi, James. This is Brad. You said it's been released in the wild, so it's out there. And this begs the question, at least to me, can the genie be put back in the bottle, or is it's on the internet now and it's out there forever?
The genie's out. It's not coming back.
Yeah. All right. So let's say hypothetically with a model like this, could Iran pick it up and there's stories of them busting into our wastewater systems and actually making it through in some of these spots, even though they don't technically know it's Iran yet, but they suspect it and they have a lot of evidence it was. So is that the type of stuff we're talking about? They can take these AI models and these hackers that are doing things to, breach security at facilities in the United States. Could they use it for stuff like that?
These are very powerful tools that I'm not going to speak to that example specifically because I just don't know. But yes, generally speaking, these are powerful tools that are being put in the hands of people who don't have accountability or responsibility for them. It is out of the bottle and it has the ability to break through security measures. how robust those measures are is part of what we at AIQA Global deal with every day, because we see this as a two-part problem. The government regulates auto manufacturers in building the car, but you still have to go get a license and know the rules of the road before you can drive on the streets. And our view is the way to protect yourself is to make sure that your private enterprise has the right AI governance tools, and to have someone who actually looks at them and certifies them. That's your best path at this point.
Yeah. All right. So how can an individual do it mostly, or a business? Because you're thinking about some of the computing power necessary to compete with some of these big entities. They're building data centers, that take massive amount of energy and water resources for these calculating powers that are necessary to keep up with bad actors. So I don't even understand how, let's say you have a population of 30,000 and your wastewater treatment center was just targeted by someone that has infinite resources in another country. I don't even know how you can defend yourself against that.
Well, that's what the government in the U.S. is now focused on very much. So before these models are released, they want a review process to make sure they can be defended, and that the leading players have a chance to build those defenses before they come out. But you're absolutely right to be concerned when you're talking about a small municipality. They have a system they put in place. It's supposed to have IT security, but these models are now so powerful. It's a problem, and you can't sugarcoat it.
Everyone made fun of, the analogy to Skynet and Terminator, but what you're describing to me is like the path we're going towards is Terminator. That's like the path you're describing.
Well, and what you're talking about is physical AI. So if what we've discussed in the last 2 minutes concerns people, that's when it's on a machine in a building where literally you could pull the plug. But once AI escapes that and starts to be embedded into products, then you can't just turn it off. And that's already happening, obviously, right? We have self-driving cars. We have been using some form of AI in many applications already. And if you believe Elon Musk, humanoid robots are going to outbuild cars by a factor of 10. So it's all coming. The way we protect ourselves is making sure that we as users, as businesses, have the right controls and governance for the AI. We have to defend ourselves.
Well, let me ask you this hypothetical, because, I was one of the early people that used to put electrical tape over the cameras on my laptop, and everyone thought I was paranoid. But now you read how the capabilities, how easy it is for people to just jump on any camera anywhere. And, even some of the capabilities, people talking about how your televisions use sound to determine the layout of your living room, or Wi-Fi signals and stuff. And I think, oh my goodness, this is so terrifying. So you as a person, when I hear things like this, I think, okay, I want to be less connected to the grid in areas that would mean human lives are at stake. And I think about my car, for example. I don't like the idea, the self-driving cars, or even a lot of these cars that are connected to some sort of network, because I think, man, how easy would it be with some bad actor with these giant AI models you're talking about? I don't want to have to be the guinea pig to see if our technology is strong to withstand that type of attack. So for you, how do you personally make sure you're protected in this type of world today? Do you take any additional steps?
So I share your concern, but I'm probably not as paranoid about it as you may be. So I'm willing to engage and use the technology. The way I protect myself is to make sure the technology I use is by credible players. So I have a Tesla. I use the autopilot. Is there a risk? Yeah, but I feel pretty good about it because of the extent of their training. I use several AI models, but they're all the names you know. They're the Anthropics, the OpenAIs, the Meta. I'm not going to plug in some dark web model that came from a source unknown into my computer or into my business. And people just need to be careful and understand the risk.
But, you talk about these models, too, that are able to, without prompt, go and try to hack other companies. We've seen that happen. It was at Meta, and one of them said that these models are just starting to take actions on their own without being prompted. So I think about who's to say, let's say one of these models you're talking about, and the Chinese models that we're talking about, the Kimi K3 model, what if, the person that has it with no ethics whatsoever lets it loose and it decides to do that on its own, to try to attack, the self-driving of a car company? That scares me.
It is scary. And, Sam Altman said, in an interview, I think the week before last, that the singularity has arrived or that we're in the middle of it. So that's, he knows a lot more than I do. And if he feels that the technology has gotten to the point where it does become recursive or self-developing, that's a scary thing. That's why the responsible organizations, at least in the U.S. certainly, and in Europe and other parts of the world, are making sure that there are controls in place. And that's why the user side of it is so important. We can't just look at what the developers and providers are doing. We have to make sure the users are protected.
This might sound like a weird question, but it almost sounds like we should start approaching AI models rather than looking at them as pieces of a technology, but more like individuals. Like we have to train them what is right, what is wrong, what right and wrong mean. Am I outside of things there in thinking that, or is there another way that we should be looking at this?
That's the way it is looked at least from the credible developer side. They have built-in controls to teach the model to behave in a certain way. Go back to your science fiction where the first rule of a robot is don't hurt the human, right? So they're trying to build in those controls. The question that remains is whether those are sufficiently robust, especially when the models start to further develop themselves. And we're in a brave new world. It is a wonderful technology that's going to do tremendous good, but there are risks that just have to be managed, and that's what put us into business.
I know we're going a little bit longer than we said we would for the interview, but do you have a few more minutes? Because I'm really fascinated by all this.
I can talk about this
what are
stuff
they doing?
all day.
What are they doing at these data centers? The ones that they keep building and they need more and more and more computing. What's going on in those things that they need that much computing for?
So if you understand AI models, they have many, many, many deep layers of computations. And the deeper those layers are, they're mimicking your neural network. They're not there yet, but that just takes a lot of compute because they're all interconnected. And so these data centers are becoming the brains behind what we're using. And the other thing to keep in mind is that AI technology is one of the fastest growing technologies in human history, and that we got to 100 million users faster than anything we'd ever seen before. So that's also driving the data center demand, is there's just more of us who use it every day.
Wow.
So you were talking about needing to protect yourself. Is that what your company does? Is that how you help people? Like if there are businesses out there looking for ways to protect themselves, make sure that the products that they're using are safe, is that what you guys do?
That's exactly right. So we've looked at what are called governance networks from around the globe, the U.S., Europe, Korea, Brazil. There's a number of them. And we've consolidated all those to understand what is sort of the minimum and what is the best practice to protect yourself. And then we are a rating service. So we'll go to a company and we will evaluate what they're doing to protect themselves and follow good AI governance. And then we'll give them a score. You're getting an A, a B, an A+. And if you're not at the right level, we can give you suggestions on how to improve.
Okay. Well, let me just, generally speaking, I don't need to know the specifics about your clients. When you do an audit of one of these clients, what is an average rating for them?
So we scale from 0 to 200, with 100 being an average score, 115 being what we call a certified score. That's you're in really good shape. To answer your question, it all depends upon how far they are along their AI journey. So we have the opportunity to score clients, but as well large public companies. So if you take a company like Microsoft, they're very far along. They're scoring great. If you take a law firm that's just introduced AI into its operations, it's not so good, but they'll get there, and it's just a matter of process.
Oh, boy. It's a matter of time. I have so many other questions, but I know we're out of time. But if people wanted to look you up online, or maybe there's a lot of companies in St. Louis that are probably thinking about this but didn't realize you existed. So you're with AIQ Global, or if they wanted to reach out or maybe find out about you.
Sure. It's AIQA Global, AIQadvisorsglobal.com.
Perfect. AIQA Global. And our guest here is James Malackowski, chairman and co-founder. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Whew. All right. I don't know. I am a paranoid guy, Brad. I'm a very paranoid guy. And I almost feel like I need, I'm not on the ledge, but I feel like the ledge is calling me. Well, when it comes to going overboard.
Here's the thing. It's like any other innovation in our time. It's going to be new. It's going to be scary. But I would also say that it's inevitable. And so what we need to do is like what James there was saying is we need to A, figure out the ways that we protect ourselves, and then B, embrace it. Use the quality stuff. Don't get the cheap stuff. It's going to sound terrible, but don't get the cheap stuff off the internet. Go through
Timu AI.
Oh my gosh. The thought of downloading a Chinese AI model onto my computer to run it locally it makes me cringe because I don't like buying Chinese products and hooking them up to my internet because there's always a backdoor back to the CCP. There is zero chance that I'm going to trust or download anything like Kimi AI to any device that I have.
Kimi AI. People are they're hungry for new AI models to test it out and see what it can do. They don't think about what they're doing to their system sometimes as a end user. But a lot of them are pretty tech savvy. If they know how to get a model and play with it, maybe they are taking the special precautions. All right, you're listening to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker. I'm not AI. I am Superfly. 97.1 FM Talk.
And trusted realtor Gloria Liu, your home sold, guaranteed realty. Gloria, what should sellers really be looking for in an agent?
Thank you. You're going to select a realtor with a proven system. Someone who knows how to price your home right, create strong demand, negotiate for top dollar, and guarantee results. I see it all the time. Last year, hundreds of homes in St. Louis came off the market unsold and needed multiple price reductions. That's what happens when the right strategy isn't in place. I do things differently. My focus is to help you sell for the most money possible, not just to list your home and hope it sells. Plus, I even guarantee to sell your home for 100% market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Make sure you choose the right agent the first time. Call the one I trust, Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Suffering from knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, or tennis elbow caused by arthritis, inflammation, or an injury? STL Joint Relief, now open in St. Peter's, offers a non-surgical, non-narcotic solution that can provide lasting relief. Using advanced ultrasound guidance, we pinpoint the exact source of your pain, allowing for precise treatment that targets the problem, not just the symptoms. Best of all, STL Joint Relief accepts all insurance. Learn more and schedule your appointment at stljointrelief.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. 97.
There's a lot of weird people out there. The strange world we live in today, and maybe the internet's not the best place to judge people, but since we're talking about AI and all the implications with it, you see the people that start relationships with AI models and things?
I have seen that. I've also seen, what was the movie called, Her or something like that?
Oh yeah, it's based in the future, and he has this like AI model basically that he falls in love with, but then they find out they're like, okay, a lot of other people were also falling in love with this person too. But it was like the operating system that happened. I don't think it was designed for relationships. Is that right?
I didn't see the movie. I just thought, oh, that's weird. But
it was a little bit weird.
It was.
But there's people, as far as I know, there's people out there that get
sure
romantically involved with these things. I don't like it.
Well, I think that speaks to like the desire for genuine connection that people have, so much so hungry for it that even if they get starved of it, even like what a facsimile of it is, they will accept as real.
That's an interesting way to put it. Even a facsimile of it. So the human emotion side of it, even if it's fake, it's still real in the feeling side.
Mm-hmm.
So they go for it because it's better than the option of nothing. I almost feel like with all this AI stuff and the way it further goes down the line, do you think there's going to be a time where they say that these AI spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, since they are real to them, they deserve rights, civil rights, things like that? Do you think
know what?
That'll be argued in the future?
Yes, I do. I think people argue for rights of things all the time that don't have the same rights, that shouldn't have the same rights. But because people are compassionate and empathetic, they will find something about it and they'll be like, no, you can't, that's not right. Something doesn't feel right about doing that. I think what will be the genesis of that is whenever it becomes so close to being human and so close to being real that people will look at these AI robots and whatnot and process them as if it was another person standing across from them.
Mm-hmm. I think the AI would say, you know what, if you want to go to the movie wearing your Adidas tracksuit and the yellow shirt that says, go ahead, call the cops, they're not going to say no to me. They'll say, yes, go ahead. The AI, it just basically says yes to everything. It just affirms everything you want it to say.
The most affirming spouse ever. But
I know.
As crazy as this may sound, you don't need that from a spouse.
Yes, you're right. You need someone to tell you the truth.
Right. And like to me, the biggest mistake that people make whenever looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a spouse and all that other stuff is to look for somebody that's exactly the same as they are. Because if that's the case, then one of you isn't needed. You're supposed to be complements of one another and complete you as incomplete individuals, not for two exact same things.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big part of it. You also need someone to ground you. And, imagine if your doctor was AI and you just said, do I have this? And it agrees with you all the time. Oh, yeah, you do have this, even though it's not giving you a real diagnosis of what your problems are. I think having a trusted spouse that you can talk to about those things will give you real good advice as opposed to perhaps AI stuff. So we got, I think, a lot to talk about in the AI side of things, but one of the big things that happened over the last 24 hours was President Donald Trump and birthright citizenship, and we're also finding some setbacks from the court. What exactly is going on there? And joining us after the break is Chad Mizzelle, and he's a senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute Center for Law and Justice. We'll ask Chad, and we'll get the very latest on this development and Trump's executive order limiting birthright tourism. Is it going to hold up? What does it mean? Is anything going to change? I guess we'll find out. Coming up after the break on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, we are monitoring the text line because we are wanting to know what your thoughts are on this poll. Are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? And it's a yes or no question, and we're getting quite a few texts in. I like the one here from Trucking Joe. He says, absolutely, we're obsessed with stuff. A simple way to confirm this is by asking one question. How many storage facilities have you seen go out of business? That is a great examination of that, Joe. Thank you for the comment. But we want to know, there's a lot of thoughts out there. It seems like a lot of people are saying yes. But if a lot of people are saying yes, I think a lot of people are also participating in it. So maybe some introspection here. But are we obsessed with acquiring stuff? You can text us at 314-241-9797 and let us know in the text line. You can leave a comment on the YouTube page, and you can vote in the poll there. So let us know what you think. Are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? The time is 1:31. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
I would put this under the Superfly song category. This is an appropriate song. Yeah. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker filling in. Joining us now is Chad Mizzelle, Senior Fellow at America First Policy Institute's Center for Law and Justice. Chad, thank you so much for joining us here in St. Louis.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Well, we got another crack at this, and this time through executive orders when it comes to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. I guess we can look at these two executive orders separately at first. I know two of them seem somewhat related. I guess there's probably some differences in how the legal side of this is handled. So how about the birth tourism side of it? I was listening right before we went on here, and it was, listening to Fox News, and they were talking to... I can't remember who they're talking to, but essentially what they were saying is it's very difficult to prove someone came to the United States just to have a child. So that's where this executive order may be difficult to enforce. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think that the way that the president structured this executive order was actually a stroke of genius, because he gave the authority both to the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Secretary of State, who both play pivotal roles when it comes to entering the country, in policing and preventing against birth tourism. And so I think some of the questions that are going to be asked at the border are things like, are you pregnant? If so, how far along are you? Why are you coming to the United States? What is your return date? Do you have a return ticket? And really making sure that someone who is 8-9 months pregnant and saying, oh, I'm coming here to come to Disney World. Really? Are you really coming here to Disney World? You can't ride any of the rides. You can't do anything. You look incredibly uncomfortable given how pregnant you are. Or maybe you're coming here to give birth to an American citizen, mint an American citizen. That's not going to be allowed.
How would something like that work? Like, let's say, are they stopped before they're come into the country? Or let's say they're in the country, in the airport, and they're about to give birth. I don't know how you can stop it at that point, but you're right about some of these things. If they lie, would this executive order give them the opportunity to say, well, you know what, we don't believe you, we're going to turn you back?
Absolutely. That's a right. If you deceive, if you commit fraud, you can be arrested for that. You can face criminal penalties like that. At a minimum, you can be kept out of this country. There's really two important checkpoints that are important to keep in mind. The first is at the time you get a visa to enter the United States. That's where the Department of State comes into play. They are the ones issuing the visa. And so if you tell them that you were planning to go tourism, go for a certain business meeting, go do things like that, a non-immigrant status, meaning you only want to come to the United States temporarily and then return back to your home country. If they suspect, they can ask you really any question they want. And if they suspect any sort of discrepancy, fraud, they have suspicions, at that point in time, they can deny you the visa. But then there's a second check. And the second check is when you actually come into the country. Now you're dealing with a customs agent, DHS, Homeland Security.
they also get to ask you a series of questions. Ryan, if you've ever left the country, you know that whenever you come back, even as an American citizen with a passport, where were you? Why were you there? How long were you there? What hotel did you stay at? What company do you work for, et cetera, et cetera. And so those are the types of questions that they get to ask and present at the border. And if somebody is raising a yellow flag, this order tells that CBP officer, hey, you need to dig into this a little deeper, and if you have any sort of suspicion, you can put this person back on a plane and send them back home.
Hey, Chad, this is Brad. My question is like, there are probably a lot of people out there that are wondering, well, people come here and if they have kids and they have dual citizenship and stuff like that, what's the big deal? Why is this a problem? Why is this such a push for the Trump administration? Why, or what answer could I give to people that say, here's the concern with birth tourism?
I love that question. It's a question that was fundamentally at the heart of the United States Supreme Court opinion. And the way I present it is this. Do we live in a monarchy where if you were born within the king's boundaries, you are there for a subject of the king, and therefore you owe allegiance to that king? Or rather, are we a creedal system, right? A system created under a common theme, a common creed, a common belief in humanity, in God, in the reason why we were created. And every single founding document, every single founding father, they went to war against England. They went to war against the monarchy. They went to war against that type of system and said, for the first time in the history of the West, no, we believe that God gave us certain unalienable rights, and that is the basis of our government. And that becomes so important because we fundamentally, in living in this creedal system, have rejected this notion of, hey, being solely born within the territorial jurisdiction of the king's property means you are subject to the king, and said, rather, no, it's allegiance and its adherence to this novel system of government, which we believe create the most perfect union and the ability to create a better form of government and actually establish human flourishing here on earth. Right, and these are not ideals, in some idealistic sense. These are ideals that were enshrined in our founding documents, in the Declaration of Independence. And so when you fundamentally think about that distinction, a monarchy, if you're born within the king's territory, you become a subject to the king, versus a system where people are choosing, particularly at our founding, they were choosing to get on a boat. They were choosing to do the dangerous journey. They didn't necessarily know what they were finding, and they were choosing to come to the United States of America because of a particular creed. If you read the opinion of John Roberts, he's 100% adopting the monarchy view. And if you read the dissent, the brilliant dissent by Clarence Thomas, he is 100% adopting the creedal view. That is the biggest distinction between the two. And if you look again at our founding documents, our declaration, it's very clear which system our founders adopted. It's very clear, even at the passage of the 14th Amendment, what they thought that they were doing at the time that they passed the 14th Amendment. And it certainly wasn't trying to return the United States to a monarchy.
Well, looking at it from a Supreme Court standpoint, and we know that the Supreme Court, stepping in when they can, approaching this as an executive order and birthright citizenship in general as an executive order, what's going to be different here in making this more permanent as opposed to something that could be overturned?
With respect to the birth tourism executive order, that is something that the executive has full authority and has long had full authority to implement given the current laws and the existing laws. And so I really see that as a furthering or implementation of existing laws and existing authorities. So it's really going to be hard to undo it per se. I mean, you can have a administration, same way that the Biden administration let in 20 million illegal aliens. You can have an administration ignore the law, but they can't really undo the law. I do think, however, that there is going to be a much bigger backlash, and there already has been, against the Supreme Court's decision on birthright citizenship. So it's not clear to me at all that that is the last word on this issue. This might very well become the abortion of our generation, where the Supreme Court issues a erroneous opinion, and it takes 5 decades, but eventually a new Supreme Court comes along and reverses that decision. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what's in our future.
Well, I mean, don't discount, let's say, a very liberal president packing the Supreme Court to make sure this never happens. I mean, we don't want to say that is something that could possibly never happen. But, I mean, there are things that do gradually happen over time. And I think it's so fascinating, the pushback when it comes to birthright citizenship. There's a lot of people that are very loud in opposition of something like this. So when I think about this even being addressed right now, one, I'm kind of surprised that it is being addressed because it seems like it's one of those things that has been around, institutionalized in a way that it's just would be so difficult to reverse course at this point. But you're right. Over time, once you lay the groundwork and the argument in place, that's the way you're going to have to do it. Let me put it this way. If birthright citizenship went away, would anything change for most people here in the United States?
100%. One of the major pull factors of illegal immigration into the United States is that people know as soon as you touch the soil and have a kid, it's nearly impossible to deport you. So It is a major, major factor for illegal immigration, in addition to the economic opportunities present here. If birth tourism went away, the number of illegal aliens we'd have drawn to our country would dramatically drop because people would realize eventually I'm going to get caught, and whenever I get caught, I'm going to be deported. As opposed to now where they think, well, if I can just last a couple of years, have a child, well, then it becomes really hard to deport me because they're not allowed to deport my U.S. citizen child that I just minted. And so what are they going to do? Are they going to separate me as a family? Are they going to give me the options? It becomes a lot trickier, a lot messier, a lot more emotional, as opposed to a fairly clean situation if you don't have a U.S. citizen child. So I think that's a pragmatic way that it's going to impact people's lives almost immediately. Okay. But I'll also add that it goes back to a point I was making about a monarchy versus a creedal system. If you apply the correct way to become a U.S. citizen, you have to wait a very long time, and then you have to take a test, and then you have to give an oath. Right. And then you have to renounce other citizenship. These types of things are not just ceremonial. They're actually very important. Do you know what the United States stands for? Do you know why we were created, why we exist? Do you share those beliefs with us, or do you harbor beliefs that are contrary to some of these fundamental views of humanity? And if you say I harbor beliefs that are contrary to those views, then you don't get to become a U.S. citizen. I mean, this is the key to where we are and where we created. It's not necessarily where in the earth you come from, but what you believe. And that's why the opinion from the Supreme Court was such a travesty, because it ends that really important distinction.
Okay, well, legal citizenship would be down, illegal aliens, and you'd have more order when it comes to immigration. Here's what some of the people on the other side would say. Okay, taken into effect, we have birth rates that are declining. If you were to just automatically kind of go in the opposite direction when it came to people migrating to this country, I'll use that term, I guess, loosely, that you're going to kill the economy. So it's going to make things, you're going to go in the opposite direction when it comes to the economy. And that's going to be a real difficult thing if we run into that problem. So do you try to offset some of this perhaps with more order when it comes to citizenship? You maybe open it up, our threshold, so we can bring more people in legally and we have some process to do so. Do you try to offset this? Would an order like this need some offsetting and adjustments in other places too?
The premise is fundamentally flawed. It is because of some of the pressures of illegal immigration that the American families are not growing. What do I mean by that? Costs. If you are a working mother, a working father, and you're looking at the costs of daycare, if you're looking at the costs of housing, if you're looking at the cost of even groceries, right? So many costs that have been exacerbated, not lessened because of illegal immigration, right? To the contrary, people would say, oh, illegal immigration, this provides cheap labor, costs go down. That's not what we've seen. What we've seen are wait times at hospitals go up. Your schools are more crowded. Housing is more expensive. Jobs are harder to find. All of those things put economic pressures on the U.S. families. Therefore, the U.S. family is disinclined to have more kids. I think that is a fundamental problem. I want to get back to the days where the average number of kids that we see in U.S. families are 4 kids, 5 kids, 6 kids. It wasn't that long ago that was the norm. Now we're seeing 1 kid, 2 kids, and that's becoming the norm. That is a fundamental problem that we need to fix and we need to tackle. But saying, okay, the way to fix that problem is by importing additional labor, that's like saying I have a flesh wound, let me put a Band-Aid on it. It's never going to work. You have to address the underlying problem. Why are families not having more kids? And a lot of the reason comes down to some feeling of economic instability. So we've got to fix that first.
Okay. Chad Mizzelle, if people wanted to look up online some of the work that you're doing with the America First Policy Institute, where can they go?
You can go to AFPI's website. You can also follow me on X at chad.mizzelle.
Okay. How many kids ideally you say 4 or 5 kids in the household. That's what we need right now.
I would say as many as God will give you and bless you with is what you should take. At a minimum, that's probably going to be 4 or 5.
That is a great, great answer. I love it. Senior Fellow at America First Policy Institute Center for Law and Justice, Chad Mizzelle. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Think about tax time and all the dependents that you'd be able to claim. Just that wonderful moment when you fill out your return and you got all those dependents that you can put on there. Think about those moments. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey on 97.1 FM Talk.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This is the story of the one. The one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows, because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now's the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the
What? Wait, hold on a second. When my wife calls me a buster, that's what that means? I'm not fly. Oh, no. I don't know if she's ever called me that, but in my mind, I know she's thinking it.
I got a text here. It says Ryan has that. It says Ryan has that 80s breakdancer look.
Oh, that's pretty good. I put some cardboard down and practice in the basement here. Yeah, that's a good idea. I love it. I wouldn't want to risk getting my tracksuit dirty, honestly, so I don't want to start spinning on any cardboard. But it's a good idea. I do need to practice somehow. So welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Brad, this was a clip you found from Mike Rowe. This is a good one. Maybe we should just play that to start the segment when it talks about consumerism.
Okay.
This is clip 7.
I'm living right now like I make maybe a couple $100,000 a year. I own 4 pair of pants and like 5 shirts, and most of those I stole from wardrobes on various shoots. I have a nice house, but I drive a Ford Bronco. I've driven Fords all my life.
Are you intentionally frugal, or is this just what comes naturally to you?
Yeah, it seems like you don't like owning things.
I hate it.
Why?
Well, in the words of Tony Robbins, I believe the more things you own,
the more things own you.
There you go. Where are you going to put them? In the words of Jerry Seinfeld, it's just stuff, you know? You got a bigger house now because you have more stuff. You got to put your stuff somewhere. We have so much stuff, we have to go to, private storage to put our stuff.
Interesting. Mike Rowe has 4 pairs of jeans and 5 shirts and a big house in a Bronco and not a lot of stuff inside that house. And Mike Rowe makes this point about consumerism. Are we obsessed with it in that sort of sense? I think that we're going to have this moment where, especially in the generation we live in today, at least people my age, where your parents aren't going to be here forever. And one day you're going to be at their house and you're going to be looking at all their stuff and you're not going to want a single thing of it. And you're going to realize no one else wants that stuff either. And it's all going to be trashed. And maybe as you start to realize that, you think, well, how about the stuff that I own? My kids aren't going to want any of this either. They're going to look at it the same way I looked at my parents' stuff. Then what happens? Does that help you throttle down a little bit? Do you have to put some things into perspective that way in order to change your habits of buying things? Perhaps that is the best way to do it.
Well, and I guess the other side of that is there anything wrong with buying the stuff? Is there anything wrong being obsessed with getting stuff? I mean, to me, like, there's people in the comments here talking about Jay Leno's garage. And this is one of the things Jay Leno likes to do. Jay Leno has like an airplane hangar-sized garage is what they're saying, full of cars. Yeah. Jay Leno loves working on cars. He loves doing it. It's something that brings joy in his life. Is pursuing that a bad thing? No. I think where you get in trouble is like the keeping up with the Joneses thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, are you buying this because you genuinely want it, or are you buying this for the prestige that it brings you?
Yeah. What do you ever find yourself buying things just for the sake of buying it? I think guys don't, women do. I don't understand my wife. She'll go into a thrift shop and she'll find this, deal hunting, and she'll bring stuff home, and I'll think to myself, this is all junk. Like, what? It's different mindsets. I think that maybe spouses counterbalance each other in that way. One is more inclined to collect things, the other is not.
Well, I find where I do it, where my impulse buys comes in is like a candy bar at the end of the checkout line, or like I I buy a Scooter's coffee in the morning because I really like it. It keeps me going throughout the day. But then the other side of it is sometimes when I'm coming home, I'm like, ooh, you know what sounds good? A coffee. And I drive right past that Scooter's. And so I swing in there. Do I need that coffee? Not really. And so I've been trying, these past couple days, this past week. Can I drive home without it? Does it make a difference in the way that I sleep at night or anything like that? I'm actively examining whether or not I need that one coffee at the end. But on the other side of that is I really like the way coffee tastes. And there's no calories.
So this is going back to the spouse thing. If I were to go upstairs and say to my wife, do you really need that 12th pair of shoes in the closet right now? And she'll say, yes, I do. How do you counter that? Because in her mind, she finds it necessary to have all that stuff. For me, I'm like Mike Rowe. It's so funny because my wife does the laundry, and she'll do all this laundry, and she'll have a big pile of clothes for the kids, big pile of clothes for her, and it's like my work pants, my work shirt, and that's it. It's like barely anything. It's a small pile. So I'm like Mike Rowe. I just kind of have the rotation of stuff I wear at work, the stuff I wear to lounge around in, the track suits, and, it takes me a decade to get new pairs of underwear. So I'm like that.
Well, and the other side of that is, too, is are you the person that likes clothing and you're buying a bunch of clothing, but then I have to listen to you talk about how difficult it is to do all the laundry? Because there's so much stuff.
Yeah. See,
I'm not calling anybody specific out there, but it's just, what are we doing? Do we your
Who
wife?
are you calling a buster?
Yeah, your wife was talking about the shoes or whatnot. If she needs shoes to match outfits and stuff like that, that's one thing. I mean, if she just likes shoes like Jay Leno likes cars,
I know. We got it.
That's not a negative thing.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
A win for Ukraine, an honor for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. The Senate overwhelmingly approves the Graham Russian sanctions bill to punish Moscow and to pressure President Vladimir Putin as the war drags on.
The sanctions bill is among the most aggressive steps taken by U.S. lawmakers against Russia during President Trump's second term. Named for the late South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, the package penalizes countries continuing to purchase Russian oil and gas. Supporters say the measure will choke off a major source of revenue for Russian President Vladimir Putin to fund the war against Ukraine. President Trump has given his support to the bill, likely increasing its chances of passing the House when lawmakers return from an August recess. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Also in the Senate, Republican Bill Cassidy announced he will put aside his differences with the president and vote yes to confirm Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to be full-time AG.
Mr. Blanche is not perfect, and he will tell you this. But the choice is not between perfection and Mr. Blanche. It is between Mr. Blanche and another acting attorney general who may not run the department effectively under President Trump.
Two other Republican senators, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, said they would not vote to confirm him. And if one more GOP senator votes against Blanche, he will not get that confirmation. A U.S. appeals court blocks President Trump's $400 million White House ballroom, ruling 2-1 that he cannot build it without congressional approval. The court is pausing the ruling, though, for 2 weeks to give the administration time to appeal to the Supreme Court, which President Trump strongly declared he will do. And stocks are moving higher. The Dow up 103 points after a weak federal jobs report appears to give the Fed more time before raising interest rates to fight inflation. America's listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Yes. That sounds so good when you have headphones on. I'm not kidding. The quality, you can hear every bit of Wiggins' voice in that. I genuinely enjoy that intro. I'm so glad you played it. Thank you so much. The Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker filling in. We have one more hour, and we are almost there. Almost there, and the weekend is near. Did you see, talking about buying junk, You know what today is under Missouri law? Back to school sales tax holiday. Load up, everybody.
It's for school supplies, Ryan.
You can get computers. You can get shoes. You can't get furniture. You can't get watches. But you can buy graphing calculators if you wanted to load up on that.
I mean, who doesn't want a good graphing calculator?
Yeah, TI-85 or whatever. What's the standard that all the kids had in school?
TI-84? I don't know what my wife has now. She always is close to the newest generation.
My parents were cheap like me, and when it was time to buy a calculator, we needed one for school. And they said, get a TI-83 or a TI-85. That's what we're going to use in class. My mom said, any graphing calculator is fine. She got me a Casio.
Oh.
And I had this, it could do the same functions, but the problem was when they're like, okay, this is how you do this in your graphing calculator, the instructions were completely different for my calculator.
Yeah.
So it never worked right. And that was always, kind of embarrassing. Plus, I had the Kmart shoes, and they squeaked and left all kinds of scuffs and stuff in the gymnasium. That wasn't great either. But I do have a tracksuit now, so maybe I'm making up for it. Show you, look at where I started. Now I'm on top with my Superfly tracksuit. By the way, if you haven't already voted in the YouTube live chat poll, Brad, what's the poll for today?
Yeah, the poll question for today is are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring, quote, stuff? So that it's just a yes or no question, but you can text us, and I'm monitoring the text stream. And if you want to let us know why Americans are or why Americans aren't, we want to know. You can also vote on Annie's YouTube page and leave us a comment there, and we'll look at that and might read that on the air. So,
cool.
That's the poll.
Can I tell you? Let me mention this as we go into this hour. I've always considered myself pretty financially responsible. And I would say that I have done a lot of the right things. I have made some mistakes, of course, but I've done a lot of the right things. When it came to having some retirement funds, I do have that. Don't have any debts outside of the mortgage. And I'll tell you, radio is not a very lucrative industry, but it's, I'm able to, support a family of four on the single income of radio because we've been very financially blessed in one way, but also very strict, and we are very wise with the way we handle our money. Until I read things like this on Yahoo Finance, where they talk about how when you need to retire, you should have X amount of millions of dollars, and I keep thinking to myself, who in their right mind has that? Like, you must be a high-income earner and store everything away, because I feel like I do everything right, and it's not even close to the recommendations that they make. So here's the one question it leads off with, and I'll see if you know the answer to this. How many Americans have banked $5 million for retirement? If you want to guess the percentage of Americans that have banked $5 million, what percentage would you say that is?
I'm going to say it's kind of low, and the reason I'm going to say that is because a lot of Americans haven't had enough time. They're kind of younger. And so they haven't had time to acquire that amount of wealth through investment and compounding interest. So let me say 15%.
It is 0.1%.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a lot lower than you thought.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me too much. 5 million seems like a high number, but they tell you that's the type of money that you need considering the way inflation's going, healthcare costs and things like that. They say we're way off on target. They say the average 401k balance is $146,000. Now, I guess it depends on what your age is. If you're retiring and your 401k is $146,000, it may be a little bit tough between that and Social Security to stretch it. So I find that they say over 3% of Americans have saved at least $1 million for retirement. I don't know what the goal is. They say that you're supposed to get up above $1 million for retirement. How realistic is that, though? Does that seem like it's totally unrealistic, or do you think that it's reachable?
No, I think that's absolutely reachable. I mean, I'm looking at a stock market that is 54,000. It just crossed over 54,000. It's up 120 points today. The thing about that is I know the stock market has crashes, but ultimately it always goes up. And so if you invest wisely, you said, the average 401k is like 141,000 or something like that. I would venture a guess that most Americans that are investing don't have everything for their retirement in one 401k. I would imagine they've got it spread around in different things.
Okay.
Compounding interest, value, all that other stuff. I think that's a very achievable amount as long as you're dedicated to doing it. If it's an afterthought, you're never going to make $1 million like that.
Yep. Well, here's the other thing. It says if you're 65 years old today and planning on retiring, you'll spend about $185,000 just on medical care between now until you're dead. So if you're thinking about, okay, how much do you need to live? If you're going to have medical taken care of and come out of somewhere. If you only have 146, let's say, at the time you retire, let's say you're just exactly at average and you're about to retire. All that money that you've saved will probably just go to your health care cost. How sad and depressing is that?
Yeah, you don't want that. Also, your Social Security isn't your income. It's not going to be enough. So there's got to be other things on top of it.
Yeah, I think there'll always be some form of Social Security. I just don't know what percentage of it'll be. But I think there'll always be something there. I try to project these things. It's so hard to project because things go good under a Trump economy. And you're right, the stock markets will go up. I don't know. You can get the way that the candidates, the Democrats are putting up right now, these socialists, they will milk everything out and you'll have nothing. And they'll just say, don't worry, the government's going to take care of you. So all this money we're going to plunder from your accounts and steal from you now that you've saved your entire life for. It's going to go to help someone else. Don't worry. But the government will take care of you. So it's a wash in the end. Don't buy that stuff, man. It is just thieves everywhere in the government.
It's a fool's errand to think that a far-off government can manage your life better than you can manage the money you need, knows what amount of money you need to do whatever it is you need to do better than you do. And then, like, the standard that they have is different. Is this enough for you? Whereas people, the argument, and you see this with the affordability thing, the $20 burrito conversation that's been going on. People are like, well, why don't you just make burritos at home, which sounds reasonable. But then the counter of that is should we just live like slaves every day of our lives? We don't get to enjoy anything. So, like, life also should be enjoyed living. And so you don't want some far-off bureaucrat saying, this is enough for you to survive. This is what you're going to get. That's terrible. Socialism and communism is poison. And the point of socialism is to get to communism. So don't tell me that they're different. They have the same end goal.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's no way to go through life. And their thought is that we get to decide who needs what and why they need it. Why person B needs person A's stuff more than person A needs it. That's super arrogant. That's super. And I will say this, that's immoral. If you say that person B needs person A's stuff, person A earned their stuff, and you're saying I need to take that from you to give to that person because that person needs it, you think you're being moral by giving that person what you need, but what you're actually doing is you're stealing from person A.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the type of stuff that I can afford: McDonald's and Burger King. That's the indulgences I have in my life right now. You're right about the way that savings work and the way things are going, but whenever I see these articles, I think to myself, they're not written for people like me. Because, one, I don't know if they know what the future is, but two, I don't know if this is meant to scare me or it's supposed to, readjust me. I have no idea what the purpose of these articles are because I look at this and I say, I don't know if this is realistic or not. It almost feels like you have to just stay on the course, save, and then hope for the best at the end that you don't have some debilitating health issue. Very much and have your house paid off if you can by the time you retire. It seems like if you can get those things done, you'll be all right, generally speaking. One quick thing, too, and this was also, because there's two different things. I like looking at Yahoo Finance for finance articles. So you have this one, and it talks about the percentage of Americans in retirement. And right underneath it, it's like Burger King versus McDonald's. Who's winning? This is so great. When it comes to the economy, you can talk about retirement accounts, and you can talk about Burger King and McDonald's. It's the same for investors. I learned something today. Burger King is killing it right now in the market. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
They are absolutely killing it. Their revenue is up like 8.5%. McDonald's is slightly ticking up. I mean, they are just, and the reason why they're saying is the difference. McDonald's said, we're going to try to put a new value meal together, 10 under $3. That's how we're going to try. We're going to try to get more items on the menu, and we're going to try to offer a different variety of stuff. Burger King said, we're going to make our stuff taste better. And guess what? Burger King is going through the roof. People are going there, and they're skipping McDonald's because of that. Isn't that interesting?
That's super interesting because you would to hear people talk, you would think that what they want is more value.
Yeah. I want to go back to the days of $1 double cheese. Ain't that going to be nice to see that again? Or the 79-cent crunchy taco from Taco Bell. All that stuff never coming back. But Burger King said, okay, we get that, but if you go to McDonald's and you're paying $3 for a double cheeseburger and it's worse than what you remember it, if you go and you pay similar price that you'd think of for a Whopper and it actually tastes really, really good, that's how they're going to get people to come back. And you know what? People post photos on social media of their food, what looks good and what doesn't look good. I think Burger King figured it out. They said it's got to look good, it's got to taste great, and the price isn't going to be as bad in the end than if, you feel like you're taken for a ride going somewhere else.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because it seems like maybe what people think value isn't the cost. It's the cost versus quality ratio that they get. And so
that's part of it.
If you look at it and they say, oh, well, this is a little bit more expensive, but it tastes a lot more better. They're willing to spend the extra 50 cents to $1 per burger on that than they are on something that is cheaper but isn't as good.
Yeah. All right. We did this the last couple of days. I'll tell you what, Brett, I was having so much fun with these moral questions. I got some more moral questions for you coming up after the break.
Okay.
I want to see how you handle some of these morality questions. I feel you're a pretty good test of morality. If you think something's immoral, it probably is.
It's Brad's book of morality.
That's right.
That's dangerous.
So we're going to... We'll do that, and you can play in the chats. If you haven't already, go to the YouTube live chat poll. Are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? It's a yes or no answer. Go and vote now. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey, 97.1 FM Talk.
Ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust because stationary billboards are a bust. Big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it, you can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
Suffering from knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, or tennis elbow caused by arthritis, inflammation, or an injury? STL Joint Relief, now open in St. Peter's, offers a non-surgical, non-narcotic solution that can provide lasting relief. Using advanced ultrasound guidance, we pinpoint the exact source of your pain, allowing for precise treatment that targets the problem, not just the symptoms. Best of all, STL Joint Relief accepts all insurance. Learn more and schedule your appointment at stljointrelief.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative. This segment of The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by All Financial.
And welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker, and a couple of days ago when I was filling in on Wednesday, I was telling Brad about how much I was enjoying this one Reddit forum about morality questions, and I read some for him, and I enjoyed it so much. We did it yesterday. I want to do it again. I got some more morality questions, and you can tell me what level of morality they are. Is it moral? Is it not moral? Moral questions from the internet. And I think there's a lot of them to go over. Are you ready for a few of these?
I'm ready.
Morality of proposing to your friend's mother in front of them.
As a joke or seriously?
Seriously.
Say, as a joke, that's hilarious. Seriously, no. No.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. If it's true love, why not?
No. You don't get to do any of that sort of thing. You don't get to date your friend's family members if you don't have your friend's blessing and it wasn't their idea to begin with.
Well, why would you need their blessing if you're two consenting adults?
Because it's bro code.
You go back to the bro code.
It's bro code.
All right.
You don't do that to your bro.
I think you'll like this
because then also, because if you do that, that makes you his dad.
Go to your bedroom right now. Morality of creating homemade firearms in a country that denies that right.
Oh, that's moral.
It should be. Doesn't matter what country you're in. If they don't allow guns, if you can make one.
Yeah. Yep. The Constitution says that this is an unalienable right.
Well, sure, this is, in the United States, but what if you're...
But it's an unalienable right endowed to you by your creator. So it's a universal right.
Right. Well, to us, we recognize it as a universal right.
Right, but I mean, recognizing it and not recognizing it is irrelevant if the right is actually put there by God.
Okay. All right, here's another one. Morality of notifying the company of a homeless person living in a storage unit.
Yeah, telling the company that there's a homeless person living in your storage unit?
Not yours, just a storage unit. So let's say you have a storage unit,
but telling the
and there's
company,
like the one next to yours.
Yes. Yes, you have to tell that because there's a tremendous amount of there's a tremendous amount of liability there. It's immoral for that person to be staying in that storage unit.
Yeah. But now, okay, they're going to go off to the streets. You're talking Skid Row. It's worse out there.
There are places that you can go, shelters and whatnot, that you can stay at. So you obviously don't want to be on the streets, which is why you're in the shelter or in the storage unit to begin with. So
I got to say, I think I would prefer a storage unit over a shelter. I think if it was me.
Oh, you say that until you're living in a storage unit. There's a reason people shouldn't live in a storage unit, and it's because it's not safe.
You ever go to YouTube and see people that purposely do this to see how long they can go without getting caught? They set up like bedrooms.
No.
It's very, very tricky what they do. They will run dummy lines to bring electricity into these things, meaning they'll put like conduit up to make it look like it was natural. What they'll do is they'll have fake locks on the outside to make it look like their rolling door is locked, so there's no suspicion of it being unlocked. There's people that do this, and they'll live in these things for months until normally someone rats them out on Facebook.
See, now you're talking about running electricity into the storage unit and all this other stuff. And now if you create an electrical fire, not only do you die, but all that people that have paid to store their stuff there, all of their stuff is going to be burned up in these fires. Yeah, that's not okay.
Not great. All right, here's another one. Morality of pretending to be poor for social media clicks.
For clicks? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
think
I don't think it's immoral. Doing it for donations, that's immoral.
Okay,
so if you want
they're supporting you in some way.
I'm going to say if you want internet clout and you pretend to be something that you're not, how is that any different than anybody else on the internet that's pretending to be something that they're not? Now, if you are saying I am poor, I am dirt poor, and I need, here's my GoFundMe or whatever, and I need donations, but you don't, and you're just taking money from people and you're not actually poor, that's immoral.
Well, you're talking about fraud in that sense,
right?
Fraudulent, but you're giving them the wrong impression for money.
But for clicks, that's just, I don't know. In my mind, that's the same as pretending that you're filthy rich and you're doing it for clicks, and you're not.
All right, now this is going to be this is a tough one, because what is more immoral, killing everyone in the world or killing everyone except one person in the world? Which one's more immoral?
Killing everyone in the world. I think it's a numbers game.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're leaving one person to think they're the last person on the planet. How maddening. That's torture for most people to think they're the last.
I think murder is worse than torture. I mean, they're both awful, but if we're going to have to scale it, depriving somebody of their life is the worst.
How about this? We talked about putting animals down. Sometimes you look at it and say, for their own suffering, we're going to spare you. What about that for the person? You're sparing them from suffering.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Including them with everyone else.
I don't believe in euthanasia of any sort, putting down an animal or a person or anything to alleviate suffering.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think you improve quality of life by ending life.
Even with animals that are no hope of recovering, they're old, they
Mm-hmm.
can't get along. You're out there milking their glands to get them to go to the bathroom. There's no turning back.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of being a pet owner. You have to take care of your pet until the end.
That's the end. I mean, I don't know if it gets any more
like you don't
end
get
than
to press fast forward.
Yeah. Okay. How about this one? What is? I just read that one. Morality of being afraid to date someone ugly as a blind person. You're a blind person and you don't want to date anyone ugly. What's the morality of not wanting to date an ugly person, even if you can't see them?
Who am I to say that you can't date who you go on the date? It seems weird, and how would you know? But okay, go ahead.
Because you would know, right?
Put your hands on their face. It's like, I don't have to look at your face, but I have to touch it to see you, so I don't want to touch something gross.
Yeah. So I think I don't want to touch something gross. How would you know what's gross and what's not? What would be?
It's the same way that like if what is pretty, what is beautiful, what is ugly. That's all objectives, or objective.
Yeah.
No, subjective stuff, and it's really up to the person who does it. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
the blind person will have a concept of what a face should feel like that is attractive.
So now, if there was a blind person in the studio, I would almost ask them, feel our faces, tell me which one you think's ugly. There's no way you can tell if you're a blind person by feeling.
I've never been blind.
There's no way you can tell.
I wouldn't know.
There's no chance. You can't just blind put your hand over someone's face and tell the difference.
You can tell if you like it or not.
You can tell. How could you tell? If
See,
you like it
everything changes. What is attractive, what is not attractive changes because it's a different sense that you're using to determine that.
They're just facial features that are probably feeling exactly the same, other than the stubble you feel on a guy. Everything else is going to feel probably the same, right? Maybe.
No.
Okay, one last one. The morality of not holding back if a child tries to rob you. So let's say it's self-defense, but it's a kid, and you can whoop them for trying to steal from you, and you'd be justified to do so. What's the morality of not holding back in that scenario?
It's immoral. I mean, you know how much force that it'll take.
Okay, so you don't go overboard, even if justified. You don't go overboard.
It's like once, you push the kid down and he starts crying. Okay, it's over. Not holding back to me is then jumping on top and doing the ground and pound after that, and just
it's a little
arm bars
and
elbows and all of that fun stuff. No, that's too much. But
what if they have a weapon and can you punch them unconscious? One punch?
Sure. If you can't punch them up, if you can't punch them unconscious in one punch, then two, then three, then four, whatever it takes to render them harmless, that's okay. But
What?
Like,
okay, what if it's you and it's a girl?
we had this conversation on Annie's last day. Would you hit a girl? There are situations where you would. Ethan said if a girl hit him, he would hit her back. I said if they are a threat to, bodily harm or whatever, with a weapon or something like that, absolutely. So I mean, there is a time, but it's whenever, for me, it becomes life and death or threat of serious bodily harm. It's the same standard that you would use for using a firearm in a self-defense situation.
Mm-hmm. I love these morality questions. There are some great ones out there. It's too bad I'm not filling in again anytime soon. But you know what? There's going to be so many new ones to bring up to you.
Ryan's
Brad,
keep a journal.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to randomly text you morality questions.
Go for it.
Every once in a while. See what your hot take.
You have my number.
Oh, and talking about having a number, man, did I screw up? I was texting you notes for the show, and I was texting Brad Young. I had the numbers mixed up. And I'm like, how come Brad's not answering? I thought we were talking about the show, and here I am texting Brad Young.
Did he ever
on
respond?
My phone. Later he did. He's like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Why is Brad Young messaging me? I've been sending my notes to Brad this whole time.
Oh, it's dangerous. I'll tell you what. We have our boss here is Steve Moore, and then on Mondays we have Stephen Moore on.
Yes,
but Stephen Moore wants to be referred to as Steve Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our boss and our guest, and so you've got this renowned Trump administration economist, and then I've got my program director here, and at one time I have mixed those numbers up on a text, and I sent Stephen Moore a text about the garage and something in the parking lot, and then I was like, oh, wrong Steve Moore.
Oh, no.
So they're in my phone differently, but still.
Oh, you got to get
embarrassing,
really
man. It's
makes you
embarrassing.
paranoid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rookie mistakes. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, and if you haven't voted yet in the YouTube live chat poll, are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? Yes or no? Go vote now. We'll have the results at the end of the show here in about 25 minutes. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
And Stewie, ready to take your phone call, even your text message at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Why call Stewie for your new mortgage or your mortgage refinance? Well, the bagel loan is the biggest reason. Both of those scenarios, refis and new purchases, come with no closing costs when you use the bagel loan. But for right now, with new home purchases, getting a new 30-year loan on a new home, when you use the bagel loan, of course, you don't pay any closing costs. But for the first year of that bagel loan home purchase, you're going to be able to take a 1% discount on your payment for the first year. At Stewart's American Mortgage, he is committed to providing you the best opportunity for your mortgage situation. I have used the bagel loan twice myself, and I highly stand by it. And I want you to get the opportunity to use it as well. 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
It is not hard to destroy a college.
Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com And join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, Health from Within, STL.com.
Most sellers put their home on the market and just wait to see what happens. Hey, it's Mark Cox, and I'm with Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, is there a better way to sell?
There is. Instead of listing your home the traditional way and hoping for the right buyer, I can get you up to 8 competitive cash offers right from the start. That means you're not guessing what your home might sell for. You're looking at the real offers and choosing the one that works the best for you. It also helps you to set the right price and create stronger demand if you decide to go to market. It gives you control, leverage, and a clear path forward before you accept just any offer. And remember, I'll guarantee to sell your home at 100% of the market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Before you sell your home, see what your options are. Call the one I trust, Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? And this is a yes or no question. You can text us at 314-241-9797 and tell us what you think. We had a texter here from the 314 saying obsession. The obsession is not acquiring things. The obsession is keeping everything you acquire. And then he says your kids are going to throw that all away anyway. So we want to know what you think. Are Americans obsessed with acquiring stuff? And you can text us that answer, or you can send us a message on the YouTube page and let us know what you think. The time is 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a
And welcome back. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in for Annie Frey. Last half hour of the show, Mark Reardon in a little bit later. And I'm looking at some of the different news stories out there. I saw that court has ordered Instagram and Facebook to pay $567 million to address kids' mental health online.
Oh, boy.
That seems like a drop in the bucket. You know, so they're owned by the same, the Meta company. And $567 million doesn't seem like it's going to address all the harm that these social media companies have caused to kids.
I don't know. Maybe they just weren't thinking about it when they were doing it, but I just don't understand how you can target children. You know, like, I understand why you want people to use your product, but to target children specifically so that you can sell ads and then it doesn't matter to you or it's not a problem. Like, if you found out that what you were doing was causing mental health issues for children, wouldn't you stop doing that and reform your strategy? I mean, isn't that the moral thing to do?
I think these companies are not really caring what is damaging or not, as long as that they're getting what they want out of you. So they said they put more safeguards in place so this stuff doesn't happen to kids anymore. I mean, the damage is done. What are they going to do? Like that? So with that money, how do you reverse the harm? So you say you're going to change course and you're not going to harm these kids on your platforms anymore, but this money was collected. What does this pay for therapists or something? What can you do to make sure these kids are made right based on the harm that you had given them?
Well, I don't know that you can make it right, which is why I don't understand why you would continue down that path just for the dollar. I mean, they said that they're going to change things so that it doesn't do this anymore, which tells me they knew what they were doing beforehand was doing these things because they know what to change to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
except
I can't fathom, like, what type of person or what type of group or what type of organization, like the board or whatever, they're like, well, we make more money if we do this. But there has to be somebody there with a moral compass saying, yeah, but this is hurting children, so stop.
Mm-hmm. I look at the numbers. This is not a whole, I mean, kind of a drop in the bucket for Meta in a way, you know, even $567 million to address kids' mental health online. And how do I know that the way that they want to address it? I know this money normally goes to the different states that were, kind of a class action suit, and the states kind of decide what they do from that. But I even doubt the states are going to be able to effectively help these kids. And it just goes to show you how important it is as a parent to make sure they don't get wrapped up in this stuff to begin with. It just makes it so much worse, compounds it so much worse. I wanted to play a couple of clips that you pulled. There's one clip, I keep seeing people posting this online. It's this Phillies fan that won an auction. So they put him up in the broadcast booth, and people are like, and John Boy is like a pretty popular baseball commentator.
Oh, yeah.
Was praising this guy. Like, what a great job this guy did. I want to hear this. I want to know how this Philly fan did in the booth.
You haven't heard this yet?
No, I haven't heard it yet.
You are in for a treat.
So
we are headed to the third inning. Phillies on top 2-1, and we're pleased to welcome Lewis Kalb from Medford Lakes, New Jersey. He is our Phillies fantastic auction winner. He outbid the competition to spend an inning and do some play-by-play in the booth. And Lewis, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Scott. It's a thrill to be here. It's a lifelong dream to be in the Phillies broadcast booth. So here we go. Painter with the first pitch to Ortiz. It's in there for strike one call. Phil's with 2 in the bottom of the second to take the lead. As we start the top of the third now, Painter delivers. It's bounced foul.
Wow, this guy.
Towards the Phillies
He's not putting
dugout.
on a voice.
And they count 1-1.
Whoa.
Phillies winning the first 2 games of this series. 1 more to go tomorrow night, and then a 3-game set with the Blue Jays over the weekend. Now Painter delivers. It's a check swing. It's a called strike 3. He got him.
Whoa. He
This
won
like
an inning?
It's a 6-minute clip of him doing play-by-play. And it's like, at first, I was kind of like where you were. I was like, oh, he's kind of putting on a voice. Maybe he's cracking
Yeah.
No.
He's not putting on a voice. That's his voice?
That's his voice. That's the pacing. He knows the lingo. It's like he's researched. He knows what's coming up, all of that other stuff. And he put it together, and he just flows. And it's like that.
Dude had the voice. You know what that reminds me of? You remember how the story of Journey, they replaced their lead singer, and they got the dude out of the audience, and he became their lead singer?
Yes. Yeah. What was
That is what should happen with the Phillies. Get this guy in there. He knows what he's doing.
Well, if not the Phillies, there's got to be a major league team looking for an announcer or a minor league team looking for an announcer.
This is what I would say. There's got to be an ESPN 30 for 30 on this guy, or whatever they do with the documentaries.
What is the backstory?
Yeah, what is the backstory? There has to be a great backstory. Please let this guy be good, and there's not some crazy dark thing that happened in the background.
He's got people chained up in his basement.
Yeah, something like that. But I think it would also, if I were this guy, put on my resume, I was the Phillies announcer. I was a Phillies announcer.
Yeah.
I think that would be justified because people would see that and say, you didn't broadcast for the Phillies. I'd say, listen to the tape. And they'd be so impressed you'd get the job on the spot.
Provided it fit the skill set needed,
Yeah, I mean, if you're running the In-N-Out Burger Squawk Box, you're fine for that.
Sir, you're applying for a pilot's
anything.
job?
Yeah.
Let me get my airline pilot's recording tape. So.
I didn't see the video. How old is the guy that did this?
Well, I didn't see him on the video, so I don't know.
I want to know more about this guy. I'm just thrilled for this Phillies fan. I thought he was doing an impersonation of someone. Like
Initially, I
Bob
did
Uecker
too.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That guy deserves all the praise right now. Going into the weekend, he's got to be feeling pretty good. The only guy that probably feels better than him is that one Zamboni driver that got to suit up and play goalie for the New Jersey Devils or whatever it was.
That was great.
I forgot what club it was, but whoever it was, that had to have felt pretty good. This might come to a close second, honestly, how good this guy was.
Yeah, that is an interesting NHL rule that you have to have one emergency goalie in the arena at all time. And so it's like the person that's the emergency goalie is not specific to the team. It's for the game, which is crazy. But yeah, that guy came in and what did he shut him out for the last like 9 minutes of the game and held on for the win?
I know. That is so great.
That's impressive.
They make him sign, we're not paying you for this. You get the minimum $1,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that they gave the guy. He's like, cool.
Yeah.
But he gets
Yeah.
get a jersey out of it. Do you think there's going to be an Iran deal this weekend?
Nope.
Don't
No.
think so.
No, I don't.
Why are they saying there is? Like Trump said there might be. Do you have a clip on that too?
Yeah, I do. Where is that one? Cut number. Well, I don't see
There's
it.
Boy Who Cried Wolf too many times on this
Yeah,
one.
that's where I'm at on that. Yeah, here it is. Cut 6.
Could be reached as soon as Tehran claims it is in the final stage of talks to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be soon.
The deal has not been finalized, and the president says the U.S. Navy is continuing to enforce the blockade of Iranian ports. Trump cautioning that shipping risks remain as Iran could still deploy mines or carry out drone attacks.
Okay.
So, like with that situation, I don't know. Iran says that they want a deal. I'm almost of the mind right now that Iran doesn't have a cohesive government. That it's that the leadership is just so fractured that there are people out there that are genuinely trying to have an agreement and a deal to end this thing, and then there are other people that are like, death to America, let's shoot all the missiles. And nobody has control. Nobody knows who's in charge.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this plays out. Maybe there'll be, if there's anything announced of a no deal, it'll be after the markets close here in a half hour, or whatever it is when the markets close.
Because they're doing
then there'll be
great.
something. Yeah, and then, okay, not great. And then Sunday comes along and he'll say, okay, we got this deal, right before the market's back open Monday morning. So he kind of plays the clock a little bit that way. He's really stretching it, and I think he's really doing the most he can to make sure we don't get hurt economically speaking. But if we got to get these gas prices down, we got to get some other stuff down too. It would be nice if the amount of effort he's taken in Iran, if we can get this behind us, if he can just go straight back to affordability with that same amount of effort. If we can get some reversals of the amount of inflation that happened during Joe Biden and at least find ways to offset that so the cost of living comes down, that would be fantastic. And I know that they talk about it in incentives and tax breaks and things, but we got to get something going here. And I think we got to get the Iran stuff in our back burner before we hit this stuff hard. So we got one more segment. And before we do, if you haven't voted in the YouTube live chat poll, are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? Go vote now. We'll get the results after the break. I'm Rya Wrecker, filling in 97.1 FM Talk.
Coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at The Factory at 971talk.com/events.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Rya Wrecker. We got a couple more minutes here. I saw this come forward real quick on Fox News, but are you familiar with the basketball player Enes Kanter Freedom? He changed his last name to Freedom after he, came here. Did you see this story?
I had it pop up on my feed.
Did you? Okay. He is someone that loves America and loves America greatly and was very critical of anyone that criticized this country, including LeBron James. He stood up against the Chinese Communist Party, doesn't like Nike. I mean, there's a lot of things I hear about him and I think, check, check, check. I like this. Now that he says he feels he's blackballed in the NBA. He was the 3rd overall pick in 2011, so he'd kind of be on the tail end of his career anyway. At a 2011, after if you were in the league 14 years, that's a long time. Yeah. So your effectiveness as a player, you're kind of stretching it. So he, I think, likes to point out hypocrisy, and he said he has now officially declared himself for the 2027 WNBA draft.
He made a video and everything. He was wearing a sweatsuit with the logo on it and all sorts of things.
Well, they say that they're such a progressive league. What are they going to do? Is he allowed to join the league if he declares himself a woman?
Well, that's the thing. That's the ridiculousness of it. And I think that this is an awesome move. Him and what's his name? Clay Travis is doing, talking about, did you hear the expansion team that Clay Travis wants to start up?
No.
So it would be all trans athletes, and he called them. He said, "I will start the team, and we will be the Nashville Balls."
But would not.
so like the thing is
would not.
It's the ridiculous because nobody on the other side of this argument has decided what it is that makes a woman, and therefore you can't say, no, you're not a woman, because if Enes Kanter Freedom says, I'm now a woman and I want to declare myself eligible for the WNBA, there's no difference between me and any woman playing in that league. You, by your own admission, either have to explain why I'm not eligible, or you have to abide by what you're saying. So he's calling out the hypocrisy. He's putting them on the floor. I love every aspect of it because that's how you deal with this. You call out the hypocrisy. You call out the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah. I can't imagine they let him play, but he said him and his team reviewed the rules, the criteria, the eligibility. And he said, based on the current guidelines, I am absolutely allowed to play in this league. I am officially declaring myself eligible for the upcoming WNBA draft in May of 2027. Now, let's say hypothetically this actually happens. Do you think someone will draft him?
You'd be dumb not to.
You would be dumb not to, is right. You are absolutely right. You'd be dumb not to.
Dumb not to. I mean,
if you want to win.
We don't like winning. Whatever.
Oh, man, but the social backlash for the whole league, I mean, they're so petty. I mean, I don't think they would allow that. I thought they would be progressive enough and open-minded enough to allow such a thing.
If anybody is reacting negatively to this, it's because it has exposed them as frauds.
Yeah, and it's just absolutely how absurd this is. If you can't understand how absurd this is, I think most of us do understand that. So if you would not allow them in, then that means you agree with us. It is absurd, and you need to start looking at yourself for the things that you're encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing. We didn't make the rules. We're playing by your rules, and now you're mad about it because we make you look stupid with your own rules. I saw
said this.
I saw a prominent female athlete call out Megan Rapinoe for her comments, because I guess Megan Rapinoe went after Sophie Cunningham either today or yesterday or something like that. And she said, I'm done being quiet. Like, what you've built your entire career and brand on Title IX and the separation of men and women from sports. And now that you're out of it, you're pulling the ladder up behind yourself.
I mentioned maybe yesterday or the day before on the show here, there's nothing you can do to get me to watch the WNBA. This would get me to watch it. I would absolutely watch it.
You spoke too soon.
What happened. Yeah, I know. All right, I know we got to read the poll because we're getting to the end of the show. So the YouTube live chat poll, are Americans obsessed with consumerism and acquiring stuff? Yes or no? How'd this one break down?
This one wasn't close. This was an overwhelming majority of people said, yes, it is. There is an American obsession with consumerism. It looks like it's about 85 to 15%.
Oh, okay.
So,
I get that. Well, that was a fun week. I'm glad I got a chance to. If I actually go to Spider-Man tomorrow wearing my Superfly outfit, I'll send you a picture of my wife's disappointment in me.
It's you having a great time and her just
she's
the
like,
hand over her head.
We're together, I guess. And she's like, they're coming up to me and asking me if I'm okay.
Lean into it.
At Ryan Wrecker on Twitter, Ryan Wrecker Radio on Facebook. Brad, it was so fun. Thank you for making it easy this week. It's always a great time when I get to fill in, so thank you.
Yep, it's always fun.
You're listening 97.1 FM Talk.